Dare to Lead, Brave Work, Tough Conversations, Whole Hearts by Brian Brown. Who is Brian? A professor at the University of Houston, an expert in empathy, courage, shame, and vulnerability. She has worked with Fortune 500 companies, nonprofits, and the military. She is also a best-selling author. The thesis of Dare to Lead is great leadership is about having bravery, being vulnerable, and establishing trust, not about having power or control. It is important for leaders to embrace discomfort, develop connections, and establish an environment of transparency and responsibility. Here is the 5 leadership lessons, and here I have them all listed right here. Vulnerability is strength, not weakness. The next is armored leadership versus daring leadership. Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. After that is trust is built in small moments. And last but not least is learn to rumble with tough conversations. Courageous leaders embrace vulnerability instead of avoiding it. This is for vulnerability is strength and not weakness. This matters because in HR and leadership, being open about challenges builds trust and safety. The real world example I have about that is Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella changed the company's culture by urging executives to own up to their mistakes and seek assistance. Microsoft had a know-it-all culture before Nadella, but he changed that to a learn-it-all culture, where staff members weren't scared to try new things and take chances. Lord have mercy. The takeaway I have for this is teams feel free to try new things, speak up, and develop when leaders are vulnerable. For number 2 is armored leadership versus daring leadership. Leaders often armor up with defensiveness and perfectionism. Daring leaders embrace authenticity and growth instead. Real world example would be is former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz once revealed that the company was having financial difficulties. Rather than acting as if nothing was wrong, he was open about the company's shortcomings. He asked for feedback on solutions and acknowledged mistakes in open discussions with employees. This matters because in HR, fostering a culture of honesty over fear leads to higher engagement and innovation. And the main thing I took away from this was that leaders build trust in teamwork when they take off the armor and interact honestly and authentically with their staff. Number 3 is clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Avoiding tough conversations to spare feelings leads to confusion and resentment. Being direct and transparent is a form of kindness. This is effective. Effective HR leaders set clear expectations and handle conflict with honesty and respect. Real world example of this would be when a Netflix manager saw that an employee was not performing up to par. They avoided having the difficult conversations for months. In return, the employee said, "If someone had just told me I could have improved, someone could have just told me I could have improved or moved on sooner." Leaders at Netflix now provide honest but respectful feedback as part of their new honesty policy. The main thing I took away from this was it doesn't help anyone to avoid feedback. Being clear and sympathetic at the same time leads to more growth and accountability. Number 4 is trust is built in small moments. Trust isn't earned through grand gestures, but through consistent everyday actions. Real world example would be of Ed Catmull, co-founder of Pixar, earned the trust of his creative team by continuously doing one small thing, listening. He made time for animators who had concerns and listened to their responses, showing that he valued what they had to say. Over time, this made it safe for artists to take chances, which led to amazing movies such as Toy Story. This matters because in HR and in leadership, small actions like listening, following through, and showing empathy make all the difference. The main thing I took away from this is that big speeches don't build trust. Being dependable, active listening, and everyday follow through does. This is the braving model mentioned in the last slide. For it relates to boundaries, relatability, accountability, vaults, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. For number 5, learn to rumble with tough conversations. A rumble is a honest, open conversation where leaders address issues with curiosity and not defensiveness. HR professionals often mediate conflict. This skill helps navigate difficult discussions while maintaining respect. An example of this would be when Oprah Winfrey had an essential team member who didn't share the same beliefs as her company. She had a rumble conversation with them in which they openly explored what was wrong rather than dodging the issue or firing them immediately. They agreed that the individual should go and their relationship stayed intact. The main thing I took away from this is that difficult conversations should be approached with curiosity and not defensiveness. When done right, they lead to better outcomes for everyone. In conclusion, Dare to Lead argues that true leadership is about trust, connection, and bravery. HR professionals can apply these principles to create environments that are more inclusive and strong. Thank you.